I've got to say I had to stay quiet for that because I absolutely friggin' love that opening by Space Time Games. And gentlemen, if you're watching this, I would be truly honoured if you'd consider allowing me to make a version of that for myself, where I would have GPC come up on that little logo bit that's there. It reminds me of old TV shows from ITV back in the day when you only had 4 channels. You know, it would just be brilliant. It would be absolutely brilliant. But now, enough of this, So, Space Time Games, what are we doing for them today? We're playing Batty, and this is a PC version. I've got no idea how it's going to play, but what I can tell you is the recent video. Where is it? It's down here. Let me show you. I made one of these. I made this spinner. Well, this doesn't work with this game because this spinner is designed to use a mouse, basically left, right, and the 2 fire buttons there. So a little request for this spinner to work. Would you consider having mouse controls as well? So mouse left, mouse right, and obviously the mouse buttons if there's any fire that's needed there. So things like that spinner would work. That would be fabulous. That really would. But it doesn't deter from the gaming. No, it absolutely doesn't. So this is Batty on the PC. This originally came out, I believe, on the Sinclair Spectrum and was a free game on a Your Spectrum cover disc that they had here, and it was by Elite Systems, and it was one of the best ever free games you could get. It really was. Well, there seems to have been a Commodore 64 version as well that had a lot more maps than the Spectrum version, and this is basically the original game with the Spectrum maps. I believe the Commodore 64 maps is probably the wrong word, sheets, layouts, screens, whatever you choose. But enough of that, let's go on the journey. And if you like what you see here, you can get this from itch.io. the link will be in the video description below. So what does it want us to do? It wants us to push 2 for joystick, and we're going to do an original game. Now, I've added scan lines onto this screen because it looks a little bit better in my opinion. Scan lines are not present normally, so that is something that I've added in the actual creation of this video. But no, we're going to start by pushing number 3. There we go. Oh, it looks good, doesn't it? It does look good. Alright, so, fire. Balls, my joystick isn't working. Oh my days. Well, I'm using a PlayStation 5 joystick. I'm sure I had joystick pushed there, but that doesn't matter. You know, I'm using keyboard here, so what can we do? There we go. Alright, I have got it. Oh, alright, so it's shift key to launch the ball. Oh my word! I died quite well. It's a little bit disconcerting when you play because you've got this little area to the left and the right that you can see, and it feels like you want to be able to go in that area, but you can't. Oh, I really wish that I could be using my spinner for this. I really do. But this is free, you know. Oh my god, I moved out the way of the blessed ball. But no, this is a free game, so you know there's no complaints there at all. None at all. Maybe about my gameplay. I've got, oh good lord. I've got to focus, I was going to say here. It's getting a little bit fast. But if we can get a ball up the top to bounce along the top, we might be alright. Lovely big graphics. And look at those eyes looking down, those eyes of judgment. You know, are they going to be like Dr. No from Brazil, who absolutely hated my gameplay on Metrocross that I played? You know, that comment in that video really made me laugh. It generally did. And what I've got is I've got comments of the day on this video. Now, once in a while, what will happen is one of your comments, if you've got to say a comment that makes me laugh, or I think it's a bit of a fun comment in some respects, and I'll give the reason why afterwards. You know, it may scroll across the bottom. It will only do it for one different video, and you'll get a picture of where that video is, what video you can go and see that comment on as well. So you have an opportunity to make yourself a little bit famous in the comments if you choose to. If you leave the words, they may be used, not against you, but just a little bit of fun we have here, a little bit of fun we have on the channel. We've got a Discord server as well, where I once in a while post the odd file and stuff like that. The odd file is maybe for the ZX Touch and things like that. And you know, you need to sometimes support the community and do, oh, what is this? It flies! It leaves. You need to support the community and do little things to help once in a while. Okay. Oh, this looks a bit serious, doesn't it? This definitely looks a little bit serious. But as the ticker says at the bottom of the screen, we are here because of you. I thank each and every one of you for, oh my god, I got killed again, for turning up, and I really, really do appreciate you. And look at that, it even speaks in the little sort of TV screens that you, oh my god, I died again, in the little TV screens, you know. I'm sure that says tough luck. Yes, that says tough luck. So we've got a quote of the day. Will it be you? Will it be you? Who will it be? I don't know. There's about 4 of them that's set up for the moment. It will pick one at random, and it has a 50-50 chance of showing it. So who are we going to have? Who are we going to have for this quote of the day on this video? And I'm dead again. Alright, here we go, and it's game over. So this is Manic Miner, the 40th anniversary here. So, so Andrew said the Skylab landing bay and the generator were the hardest on the original, but this looks bloody impossible, and it's going to need some pokes for this. And if you don't know what a poke was back in the days, you could poke your games to make them just a little bit easier, to give yourself extra lives. So joystick doesn't work on that, we know that, but I'm just going to do joystick again, or at least the original game at this point, to just move forward here. You know, I accept that I have to push keys on the keyboard, but I am using a PlayStation joystick there. You're connected via USB, no fancy adapters or anything like that, but it didn't want to play ball, or it didn't want to play bat and ball, no pun intended there, and we're going to see how far we can get. I've had a lot of fun with that ticker. I've used tickers in the past, and all that ticker is basically custom HTML that I've basically written to do bits and pieces with some CSS and JavaScript there, and it's got a lot of keywords that you could actually put in to make it do things. But you know, I wanted something that was very easy to adapt, and there's basically just a ooh, let's get this batted here, let's get this batted here again. Alright, focus. Yeah, there's basically just 2 files that it will pull from. It's got an info file that describes the game, and it's got a main file that has all the other bits and pieces on there. So you know, you're going to see that as a regular part of the video. You know, I'm really excited. I went to RetroCon very recently. Brilliant show. You know, couldn't stay there long. Only found out about it thanks to a man in his techno shed at the very last minute. However, Monster Joysticks was a product that I purchased there, and yes, you can guess, they sell joysticks. If they sold duvets, they'd be in the wrong business with a name like that. But no, Monster Joysticks sell joysticks, and I've got them arriving soon, so they will be featuring the ticker, just like when we have a Mr. FPGA game. You know, I have Ironclad DX system board here, so that's what my Mister is powered by. My Mister is a real Mister, a man's Mister, in terms of it's one of the original ones. Not there's anything wrong with the new ones, but buy a man's one, you know, you've got to have a man-sized purse in some cases to buy the DE10. That's really expensive, but fortunately you've got clones of the Mister now that are in the market, or other ways of doing it, so you can have the Mister at a much more reasonable cost. You really can, which brings a lot of great things to the party. But I use a Ironclad DEX10 system board there, so you know, my DE10 stacks on an Ironclad DX system board, so my DE10 sits on top of that. So yeah, I will advertise that. And on any games that I basically use the Monster Joystick, you know, when I've got them and they've arrived, I'll kill aliens. There's no bloody aliens to kill. You know, I'll put a little note on there for the ticker as well, so I've got full flexibility of that, and it's just a nice way to, you know, not always say the same things, but you can just put it in text there, because you know, it's important to credit things, it's important to credit people. And speaking of credits, remember, if you like what you see here, this is available on itch.io, and you can go get this yourself. The link will be in the video description below, so you know, always remember to go there. And if you like it, leave a note for the author, say thank you. You know, this costs nothing. You know, the amount of energy, the amount of effort that would have gone into this to create this, and it is a really solid version of Batty. You know me, I'm not that good at these bat and ball type games, even though I've got the Ultimate Spinner Pro. And you know, I've got that TS spinner for the PC, which does not work on this, and that's not a dig, it's just a fact. It doesn't work on this because that is basically a mouse controller. Oh my god, I moved out of the way that you have for it. However, why did it go in that bloody direction? You know, however, you know, these things are great to have these options to be able to play the games, but I will be calling them out every once in a while. But rather than say words, I can call them out in the ticker, which makes my life easier. And how did I lose that ball so quickly? You do a bit of multitasking when you do these videos. Oh my god! you do a bit of multitasking when you do these videos, where you know you're trying to have a conversation with you, the audience. Yes, you, the audience, and it goes a little bit wrong. And also, in fairness, what you can't see is I'm racked in frigging pain at the moment with my back as well. You know, there's a lot of pain sat here. You know, generally a lot of pain sat here while I'm trying to do this. So, you know, you're trying to make a little video show while you're in pain and you've lost your ball, but fortunately I've still got one ball left. Well, I've actually got two balls, but those are different types of balls. I've got one ball left on the screen that I can be using. I do find it a little bit hard with that little green thing there. My OCD, I would like solid walls all the way down. It takes a bit of getting used to, so that's game over. But no, this is really, really good. But we need to go to stage select, I think, and see what we've got. Alright, so you can see the original Spectrum versions that we've got here. Look, they've got a little spec there as well. But we're going to jump all the way to the Commodore versions where it's got the word 64. If you're a Spectrum fan, boo hiss. But the Commodore 64, since doing this channel, I have grown to love that system. There are some very, very good games on here. One that I did twice on this channel deliberately, and I think it was underrated, was a game called Inbred. That was a great little game. You had to build sandwiches. It's available on itch.io as well, and you know, I do recommend it. I had a lot of fun with that game. I really, really did. But yeah, I think the Commodore 64, I think the games, same on the Spectrum, but especially the Commodore 64, I think the games that you get these days on it from itch.io and places like that are so much better than what you originally got. You know, that they really, really do push that machine to its full potential now. All right, okay. I wanted to kill aliens and I wanted that multi-ball thing, none of which I managed to get, but maybe I could kill the aliens with my ball. Alright, focus, focus, focus. There's a lot of levels here. You know, God, imagine the skill you would need to play all the way through this without a single restart. Holy hell. Alright, okay, where are we going? Where are we going? Alright, okay. Nice, nice, nice. The graphics are pretty damn smart on this, nice retro theme. But as I say, what I would do on this, gentlemen, is I would give it a scanline option. I really, really would. I generally think it looks a lot better with scanlines than without. It doesn't look horrible without the scanlines, but you know, preference. Yeah, it's just a nice shader to give it, a nice feel to give it, which gives you a bit more of a retro type look as well. In other news, you know, I won't spoil it because it's going to be their game, so to speak, to be talking about. But I have been made aware of a PlayStation 1 game that I've got kind of set up ready to go. But with the state of my back, I'm really not in a position to be doing this at the moment. And you think, why would it be that? Well, it might be quite a long video, because it's quite an interesting game. I've looked at it at a top level, but, you know, it's pleasant. It's so pleasant in this day and age to see a game where you think, holy hell, I never knew that existed. And it's a game that, you know, it's just absolutely friggin' nuts in the best possible way. It really, really is. And it's got a really lovely charm to it. So yeah, I look forward to doing that, but I need to be in a bit better physical condition to do this. But we are set up and ready to go where I can dedicate myself to a long period of time to sit there and play this, because I think that there's a lot of things I want to do. But I'll give you a clue. I want you to think, please, little computer people, but little computer people with something else. There's a clue for you. Alright, oh, I didn't like that. Alright, so when you do a level, you just play the level and you can then select your stage. No. I thought it was going to start there. Alright, okay, so I think what we're doing, we're going to pick one that we haven't done and we'll call it a day on that. So we're going to pick Pac-Man. Let's do Pac-Man. There he is. And see whether we can do that. Oh, yes. Collect the balls, collect the balls. Okay, this is good. This is good. Oh, no. I looked at that as if it was a bloody ball coming down, thinking, yeah, all I've got to do is collect that. Oh, my days. I went under that. Alright, okay. And I've only got one more life left. Ah, tough luck. And I'm gone. We didn't defeat Pac-Man. We did not defeat Pac-Man. So, if you like Batty, you're absolutely going to friggin' love this, I think. This is a great, great conversion. Please, please, please fix it so the spinner works. And literally, it's mouse left, mouse right, and the two buttons is your mouse left and right button on there. And if you could do that, that will work with that spinner. And I know those are the controls for it, because when you set it up in MAME, that's what you've got to do. But yeah, love what you've done with Batty. Absolutely love what you've done. Thank you, Spacetime Games, for putting all the work, all the effort into this. It's because of you. You're the lifeblood of some of these retro games we have on the PC. Another great piece of work. Stay safe, take care, and I'll see you soon. Goodbye.
Please like, share, and please like, share, and subscribe to this channel.